This is Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, Queenpin, Part 1. Now, you would think with Angela and the children back home with Q that everything would be smooth sailing. But no. If you know how life be lifing, then you know that each and every one of us is either in the middle of, on our way out of, or on our way into a storm. And if you're anything like me, even when the sun is shining, you still carry your umbrella. While Angela and Q are enjoying a moment together, waiting for those results to come back in regards to Angela's pregnancy, there are storms brewing all around them. The Queen Mother is visiting with MomBrenda, who's still in a coma. LJ's just informed Regina that Angela and the children are back at home, and Regina's not doing too well emotionally. Stephanie is having a secret conversation with her Uncle Manny in regards to having that conversation he alluded to when they were back in Puerto Rico. Anya is confiding in Pops Andy about her breakup with Ron. Donovan is licking his wounds at home with his two children. And Miss Bernie is in complete shock because she's at Veronica's and Veronica just got arrested. Miss Bernie said, Veronica, you want me to call Donovan? Veronica said, no, call Q and ask him to send a lawyer down here. I think Ron is a criminal attorney. He should be able to help. Miss Bernie said, what about your father? Veronica said, no, please don't call anybody else. Just call Q. Where y'all said y'all taking me again? The DPD officer said, we're taking you to headquarters. Veronica said, tell him to send an attorney to headquarters. As the officers let Veronica out, Miss Bernie made that phone call.
Hugh was surprised to see Miss Bernie's number on his caller ID because he figured she was in the waiting room with everybody else. But he answered and said, what's going on, Miss Bernie? Miss Bernie said, Q, you're never going to believe this. Q said, try me. Miss Bernie said, Veronica just got arrested. Q said, where'd they take her? Miss Bernie said, headquarters. Q said, okay, I'll send Ron to represent her. Does Donovan know? Miss Bernie said, no, she told me not to call anybody but you. Q said, oh, all right. Then he hung up and filled Angela in. Then Angela asked, why would she have Miss Bernie call you instead of Donovan? Q said, I don't know, but I guess that explains the text message that I got from him earlier. He sent me a text that said, bro, I'm back in the game. Over the last 4 months, all he could talk about was getting Veronica back. He told me he was going over there today to discuss it with her. I guess it didn't turn out how he hoped. Then Q called Ron, and Ron said, what's up, bro? Q said, can you go down to headquarters and represent Veronica, Donovan's baby mother? She's been arrested. Ron asked, I can, but are you sure you want me to do that? Q asked, why wouldn't I? Ron said, I take it you haven't talked to Anya. Q said, nah, I haven't. What's up? Ron said, it's a long story, bro. Just know, I love that girl, man. Q said, if you've done something to hurt my sister, you might want to tell me now. Ron said, nah, I didn't. Q said, well, I'll talk to her, and then you and I will talk later. Just go handle this with Veronica and bill me. When Q hung up, Angela asked, what is going on? Q said, don't even worry about it. Let's focus on you and these babies. How you feeling, love? Angela said, good, just hungry and tired. Q said, well, you can't eat until these test results come back, but you can sleep. Then Q closed the blinds, turned off the lights, and pulled down the safety bar on the bed.
Angela said, what are you doing? You said, putting you to sleep. Then he climbed into the bed next to her and wrapped her in his arms and stroked her hair, stroked her belly as much as he could around the monitors, and lightly brushed between her eyebrows until she fell asleep. About 30 minutes into Angela's nap, Q felt his phone vibrate. When he pulled it out, it was a call from Rennie, LJ's baby sister. He sent her to voicemail.
Then he sent her a text, and we got the screenshots. Then Q made a phone call. When the man answered the phone, he said, what up, Wood? And Woody said, what's up, Q?
Woody is Q's childhood best friend. He's one of the people that Q flew into town to help him, LJ, and Donovan handle the whole situation when the ambush of the St. James family went down. He was also one of the people who helped Q and LJ find Regina.
Now, Woody is what you would call a friend from past life. He knows the Killer Q version of Quincy Anders St. James IV. Q said, I'm about to send you a text. I need you to handle something for me. Q hung up the phone just as Angela started stirring. He rubbed between her eyebrows and put her right back to sleep. Then he sent Woody Rennie's location. At that moment, Marcia's partner walked in. She said, Oh, she's sleeping so peaceful. I hate to wake her up, but I have results for you too. Meanwhile, in the family waiting room, the Queen Mother just returned from visiting Miss Brenda. And Stephanie was wrapping up her phone call with Uncle Manny. When she turned around, her husband was standing behind her, and he said, You and I need to have a conversation. Knowing she was caught, she looked over his shoulder and said, Miss Bella, how's MomBrenda? Miss Bella said, She's about the same, Stephanie. I sat with her and let her know that we're all home, safe and sound. Then Melissa pulled on the Queen Mother's leg and said, Grandmere, Nana Brenda's in heaven. The Queen Mother said, No, sweetheart, she is still very much alive. Melissa said, No, her spirit's in the line. The Queen Mother said, What? I don't understand. Melissa said, I had a dream and I saw her. She was in the line. You know. The Queen Mother said, What line, sweetheart? Melissa said, The line that we all have to stand in when we go back to God's heart. Nana Brenda's in the line, waiting for her turn so that Jesus can read the pages in her book. But she needs to come back so that she can finish writing them. Her book isn't filled yet. I need to see her right now so that I can tell her to come back so that she can finish writing in the book. The Queen Mother just looked around the room in complete and total confusion. At that moment, Q walked out into the family waiting room. Before he could say a word, Melissa looked at him and said, Mommy and the babies are fine, but Nana Brenda needs me. Can I go? Q looked at Melissa, then he looked at his mother and said, Mom, can you take her to see Miss Brenda? At that point, the Queen Mother was just as interested to hear what on earth Melissa was talking about as everybody else was. So she agreed to take Melissa down to see Nana Brenda. But first, she wanted to know what the doctor said about Angela and the twins. Q said, Well, the doctor wants to keep her here for a few more days just for observation, make sure that everything is good. They were able to stop the contractions, and they're giving her some fluid and medications to try to make sure that she has enough amniotic fluid and that her blood pressure stays under control. They want to get her established with an OBGYN before they decide whether to let her go home or keep her here longer. But right now, they're pretty sure that she's out of the woods. Everybody thank God for the great news. And then the Queen Mother took Melissa to go and see Miss Brenda. When Melissa entered the room where Mom Brenda was hooked up to all of the machines and a breathing tube was breathing for her, Melissa was clearly not afraid. She walked right up to the bed and took Miss Brenda's hand, and then she said, Nana Brenda, I know where you are, and all you have to do is just raise your hand and get his attention. Look at your book. There's still some blank pages. And if you ask, he'll let you come back so that you can finish writing in your book. Then Melissa went quiet, closed her eyes, and prayed silently. When she opened her eyes again, she smiled and looked at the Queen Mother and said, She's going to have to wait her turn. When she gets to the front, all she has to do is ask, and he'll let her come back. A chill went up the Queen Mother's spine. While she had no idea what 11-year-old Melissa was even talking about, she could feel in her spirit that Melissa knew what she was talking about. Melissa climbed up on the bed and gave Mom Brenda a kiss on her forehead and said, I love you, Nana Brenda, and I can't wait for you to come back and tell me all about it. Then she climbed down and said, Can we go see my mommy now? When the Queen Mother and Melissa returned to the family waiting room, Q let them know that LJ was in visiting Angela. LJ said, Shawty, I know you're going through a lot yourself, but Regina needs your help. I don't know how to help her. I don't know how to reach her. I know that she went through something horrible, but I don't even know the full magnitude of what she endured. She won't talk to me. She won't see the kids. She won't see anybody. As soon as you have the all clear, will you visit with her and see if you can find out what's going on?